Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Dais, a podcast about the stories taking place in and around El Paso County, Colorado. I'm your host, Scott Anderson, and today I am joined by Nic Soucy, the Government Affairs Coordinator for Project Angel Heart. How are you doing today, Nic?
Hi, Scott. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's a pleasure to have you on. I really appreciate it. So before we get started, I wanted to quickly add that if listeners are interested in more stories about people doing good in and around El Paso County, or hearing from county leadership about local government priorities and how they operate, you can find additional episodes of this podcast on your podcast platform of choice. But to get into things, Nic, I was wondering if you could give us some background about yourself and how you came to be associated with Project Angel Heart.
Absolutely. So I joined the organization in January of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. And I actually started as a social work intern. I was working in my master's, working on my master's of social work at the University of Denver. And as part of that program, we are required to have an internship. And I had not heard of Project Angel Heart previously. I was actually new to Denver from Boston. And as soon as I heard about this organization, I was like, oh my gosh, this is an organization that's part of the community and is really just doing such incredible work. And I started, like I said, as an intern and very quickly fell in love with the organization. And I joined the team officially as a staff member in May of 2020. And I started working in our client services department, taking phone calls with our clients, and then moved into my current role as the government affairs coordinator when I graduated from my program in actually just before I graduated. So I started this role in February of 2021.
Wow, really cool. And I got to say, I haven't heard many stories about people getting hired at nonprofits during May of 2020. Talk to me about how the organization was operating back then.
Yes, I was very fortunate. So Project Angel Heart has a staff of about 40 people, but we rely on the support of over 8,000 volunteers each year to kind of fulfill our mission. And so when COVID hit, we really had to pivot. We were closing our doors to having, volunteers come in the building, and we were having to kind of entirely shift how we were working. So instead of having volunteers come in and help us chop vegetables in the kitchen and dish up meals, we were really relying on them to just deliver the meals to our clients. We're very excited to say that we never have missed a single meal delivery. So throughout COVID, we continued our delivery schedule. All of our clients received their meals. And that was a really big deal when everything was shutting down and people weren't allowed out on the roads. And so as a staff member at that time, we were really stepping in and filling in a lot of these volunteer roles. And so we were getting out on the line and, putting on our aprons and our hats and chopping vegetables and dishing up meals and packaging everything. And we, I think, all got a whole new appreciation for the amount of work that our volunteers do every day to kind of keep the organization running.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. So you touched on it a little bit, but I was wondering if you could share some additional background about Project Angel Heart itself and what the main mission of the organization is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Project Angel Heart, it actually was started in the fall of 1991 when a group of neighbors took a pan of lasagna, divided it up into 12 pieces, and delivered it to their friends who were living with HIV. They kind of recognized the need that these folks had for, a warm, kind of nutritious, filling meal, and delivered that. And with that one delivery, Project Angel Heart was born. And so we are an organization that prepares and delivers medically tailored meals for individuals living with severe illness. So our vision is for all Coloradans living with severe illness to have access to nutritious food that supports their health and well-being. We really believe in the principles of food as medicine. And so we serve about 5,000 clients per year, delivering this year, we're hoping to deliver over 770,000 meals. So we grew from, a pan of lasagna that served 12 people to delivering, thousands of meals each week.
Wow, that is a lot of meals and a lot of clients.
It sure is.
So 5,000 clients a year, 770,000 meals. What communities does that serve? I know your organization is based up there in Denver, but obviously you have ties to El Paso County. So can you talk to me about the communities that you guys serve?
We do. So we are our one of our offices and our kitchen where we prepare all of the meals is based in Denver. And then we also have an office in Colorado Springs. But we deliver currently to 1,650 square miles across the Front Range.
Whew.
But by 2025, we are hoping to turn that number into 2,400 square miles. So we are expanding quite a bit geographically. We are primarily focused on home delivering along the Front Range. So right now we deliver in the Denver metro area up to Boulder and Longmont. We just recently expanded up into Brighton and Fort Lupton, and we're going to be making it up to Fort Collins by 2025. And then, of course, we serve El Paso County, Colorado Springs, Fountain, and last winter we expanded down into Pueblo as well. So
wow.
Now we serve Pueblo and Pueblo West and are looking forward to expanding more in those areas as well.
Yeah, that's incredible. How do you guys? How does the organization look at expansion, and like how do you move into new communities? I guess you would say.
It's a very thoughtful process. So when we're looking at where we're going to expand next, we're really focused on where is the most need. Our team is wonderful and does a lot of needs assessments in terms of looking at, the prevalence of different diagnoses that we serve in different parts of the state. We also look at where we've heard a lot of requests. We have a client services team who talks to medical providers and clients every day. And so they hear a lot from communities that we're not currently in that, a service like this would be incredibly helpful if we were to start serving that area. So we're trying to kind of look at the data and then also be responsive to the community need. And when we identify an area that we would like to grow and expand into, long before we actually start serving clients there, we start building relationships with the community. So we start attending, different community meetings and getting to know elected officials in the area, talking to different hospitals and doctors, and just kind of hearing kind of what they're looking for, so that when we do come into the community, we're kind of ready to respond appropriately.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine that pays huge dividends in the long run, like before going into a community, having that sort of connection with them. So I guess maybe expand on that a little bit. Can you talk about how important it is for Project Angel Heart to be viewed as an organization within a community that people can turn to in their time of need?
Right. So it's incredibly important for us to be seen as really as part of the community. We're a Colorado-based organization. We were started by, residents of Denver, and we've stayed really close to our roots. So while we've expanded quite a bit in terms of, the quantity of the meals we're providing and the diagnoses we're serving and the areas that we're delivering to, we really try to stay close to our roots. And so a lot of the time, I think there's this idea that, receiving food is charity. Folks think, if I'm taking food from this organization, it means that I can't prepare food for myself. And, I a lot of the number of times we hear from our clients that they feel that these meals should be going to someone else who, deserves it more.
Mm-hmm.
We hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to really focus on is the fact that, food is medicine, and people show love and support through food. It's such a personal thing to people. And so I think that's the part that we're really trying to capture, is this combination of food is love, and we want to provide love to people while they're going through these kind of challenging diagnoses. And at the same time, food is also medicine. And so, just like if your doctor were to prescribe you a medication that you would pick up at the pharmacy, this is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Folks are receiving meals that are very specifically tailored to the needs that they have medically. And so it's kind of important to have that balance between the two sides there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. Thank you. So after submitting your grant request to El Paso County, Project Angel Heart was awarded $50,000 of ARPA funding. Can you talk about what specifically that money has gone to fund?
Yes, we were very grateful to receive the funding from El Paso County. And with that $50,000, we were able to serve El Paso County residents who were living with severe illness, including cancer, heart failure, COPD, kidney, lung, heart disease. And we ended up serving 546 neighbors in El Paso County, a total of 50,885 medically tailored meals. And these meals, we have a team of professional chefs who are cooking these meals from scratch in-house every day. So they're using fresh ingredients, locally sourced, organic meat whenever possible. And each of the meals that they're creating can be differentiated in over 200 different ways. So we can adjust things like, if somebody needs a diet that's lower in vitamin K because of a medication that they're taking,
Mm-hmm.
we're able to accommodate that. If somebody has dentition issues or maybe difficulty cutting up a piece of protein, we will go ahead and cook it so that it's fork tender and a lot easier for them to chew and swallow. And all of these different modifications can really just make such a difference for a client who would maybe not otherwise have food that would be medically appropriate for their needs.
Yeah.
So each of those clients received, medically tailored meals for as long as they need them and qualified based off of their medical diagnosis. And then in addition to that, this funding also helped support nutrition education and counseling for these individuals. So we have a team of registered dietitians who oversee the production of all of our meals to make sure that, they're healthy and medically appropriate. But they also connect with our clients one-on-one and in group settings to make sure that our clients, have any questions related to diet or nutrition answered, and kind of do a little bit of counseling around that too. So, if they stop receiving our meals and they go to the grocery store and start shopping for themselves, they have an idea of what to look for to make sure that they're going to stay healthy.
Yeah, and that kind of answered a little bit of the question I had following up on that. So what is that process like for finding out the needs of those people you're preparing the meals for? Is there, like, when they initially get started, do you have kind of a talking session with them to determine, what, medical concerns there are, and maybe different preferences they might have? Like, what does that look like?
So when a client is signed up for our services, they're typically being referred by their medical provider. So their doctor, nurse, social worker, dietitian, they are recognizing a need that this client has. And then they contact us and they submit a brief application that gives us a little bit of background information about the client's health history and the current diagnoses that they're living with.
Mm.
So that gives us a starting point to understand kind of where our clients are coming from, and gives us an idea of what type of diet they might be a good fit for. And then on top of that, when our clients are being signed up for our services, our client services team will call them and have, a 10 to 15 minute conversation, verifying their basic information and letting them know about our service, but also trying to get a bit more information about, if they have any preferences. Maybe they don't like eating fish. That's not something that their medical provider might tell us, but that's something that matters to us because we want to make sure the meals that we're sending to our clients are something that they can actually enjoy and are going to eat.
Yeah.
So we take information from both sides to get them set up on that program. And then from there, we just start delivering meals. So they'll receive weekly deliveries of between 7 to 14 entrees. And those are delivered right to their door. And the reason we deliver them frozen is because we really want our clients to have the flexibility and independence and autonomy to decide what they want to eat and when.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not showing up at 1:00 saying, all right, here's a plate of spaghetti and you have an hour to eat this.
Right.
We really want them to have, be able to go to their freezer and say, I'm in the mood for chicken today. And that's what I'm going to have.
Yeah. No, that's great. So how has working with other organizations in the area benefited the programs that you guys are working on there at Project Angel Heart?
So the work we do, it would not be possible without the community. So community partnerships help us reach a lot of Coloradans who are in need of this nutritional support. So, like I mentioned, we are working with different medical providers, hospitals, dialysis clinics, community health centers to identify clients who need our services. And then vice versa, we're also referring a lot of a lot of our clients to other programs. So, maybe we are serving a client who was living with a cancer diagnosis and now they're in remission. So they don't necessarily need a, a diet that's tailored to their diagnosis anymore, but
Hmm.
maybe they're still food insecure. So we might connect with other organizations in the community who address food insecurity as kind of as their primary focus to help our clients kind of transition off of our services or just access other resources that they need. So because we are kind of a trusted provider in the community and our clients, we get to know them pretty well. And so they feel comfortable sharing with us if, maybe they're a little bit behind on rent payments or, they're looking for a support group
Hmm.
to help them kind of process something that they've gone through recently. It's really important that we have those community partnerships to know where we can refer them to make sure that they're getting kind of this well-rounded support.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to highlight. So, how do you guys become that trusted partner, not just with the community, but with the individuals that you're serving? How do you become trusted enough for them to, share that kind of stuff with you? Like, yeah, you know what, I am going to need help with rent payments. I am going to need, have some food insecurity that's going to need to be addressed after our services with you are done. Like, how do you become trusted by individuals like that?
It's a great question, and this is where I have to brag a little bit about our team.
Yes,
Um,
please.
we have such an incredible group of people who work at Project Angel Heart. I mean, I could not say enough good things about each person on our staff. And the dedication that they put into connecting with our clients, making sure that, when we say we're going to provide a service, we really follow through. We have teams of people who are focused on making sure that deliveries go out on time to the correct person, and all of our meals are delivered by a friendly, smiling volunteer or staff member to just make sure that our clients feel really cared about and loved. um, as I mentioned, I think the consistency really helps. The fact that we were able to get through COVID without missing a single delivery to our clients, they felt like they could really rely on us and trust us. um, I remember it was kind of all hands on deck during the pandemic, and I was out delivering quite a bit myself. And I would show up at clients' doors, and they would almost look surprised that I was there, even
Yeah.
though I was there during their regular delivery window. There was a part of them that I think they didn't expect us to keep showing up.
Yeah.
But we were there with our masks and our face shields and our gloves, just making sure that our clients knew that they could really count on us.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't in need of meal delivery at the time, but, seeing a face of another person, especially during that, from like March to, gosh, June or July, it was pretty rare, honestly. So yeah, like I can tell that connection, being able to still make that connection during that time, I'm sure meant a lot. That's
Yeah.
really great. So I was wondering if there was a personal story that you can share to just kind of help demonstrate the work that the organization does.
Yeah, I was just thinking of one of our clients recently. We serve a client, and she gave us permission to share her name. Her name is Maria, and she's been receiving meals from us for about a year now. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when she was in her 20s, and now she's in her mid 50s.
Oh,
And
wow.
so as she's gotten older, she's been experiencing more symptoms kind of related to her diagnosis. It's really difficult for her to complete kind of activities of daily life that we take for granted, like
Hmm.
grocery shopping and preparing meals.
Yeah.
And so when she was first referred to our program last year, she shared with us that she was really just eating things that were convenient. She would go to the grocery store and pick up, heavily processed TV dinners and just anything that she felt she could pop in the microwave and throw together very quickly and easily.
Sure.
But a lot of the time, those meals would end up making her feel a lot more sick and tired than she was before. So she wasn't super motivated to keep eating them. Um, so when she signed up with Project Angel Heart, she opted into our vegetarian diet. And then we also modified that to remove gluten, which kind of would help reduce the inflammation that she was experiencing in her body.
Hmm.
Um, and she has talked to us that about how, the meals are helping her feel physically better, but it's also been really exciting for her to try different foods and kind of explore different creative menu items. And on top of that, she said the meals have helped her financially as well. So a lot of the treatments that she's undergoing and medications she's taking are very, very expensive. And so sometimes she would really have to be choosing between paying for food and groceries or paying for medications that she needed.
Nice.
And so for us to be able to deliver these meals to her free of charge, as we do with all of our clients, she did not have to choose between, nutrition and other basic needs.
Yeah.
And you can just tell when you talk to our clients at the beginning of service, there's a lot of anxiety, kind of they're not sure if what we're talking about is really going to happen, that we're really going to show up every week with these free, delicious meals. But after they receive a couple deliveries, you can just kind of hear the relief in their voices, and folks are just really grateful that they can have access to this delicious and nutritious food. And we could not do that without support from the community. And kind of going back to El Paso County as well, we really appreciate this funding because it allows us to serve people like Maria.
Yeah. No, that's great. And it's like, what does that do for you? Like seeing outcomes like that, what does that do for you personally? Like seeing someone like Maria be able to, receive those meals, and, because of that, she's also able to take care of her medical needs. Like, what do those outcomes mean for you personally?
Personally, it's incredibly heartwarming, of course, but I think we all know someone who's been impacted by a severe illness, or maybe we have, or we can even relate to, if we've gotten a bad bout of the flu and we were just feeling too sick to get out of bed and cook.
Yeah.
I mean, like I mentioned before, food is just so personal, and to be able to connect with people kind of on this very basic level and show them love and support through nutritious meals, it's something really special. And so I think in each one of our clients, a lot of us are seeing friends and family and people who we love, and it feels really good to be able to support the community in this way. And I think a lot of the time it's really leading to a stronger community in the end. Many of our clients end up wanting to give back through our program. So, we have clients who might become volunteers and come into our kitchen and help us chop vegetables when their health improves. Or maybe, so I haven't mentioned this yet, but one really neat aspect about our program is that all of our meals are delivered in hand-decorated meal bags. So
that's fun.
Every single one of the 1,800 bags that leave our building each week have a drawing on them, some by kindergarten classrooms, mm-hmm. and some by professional artists that are absolutely gorgeous. And a lot of our clients end up decorating bags for us because they felt the support and the love that they got from receiving those bags, and they want to pass that on to others. So mm-hmm. It's kind of this wonderful like connection to a bigger community, which is something that sometimes you lose when you feel like you're kind of struggling with an illness on your own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's really cool. So for those who may be seeking those services, I know you mentioned that sometimes they're done through referral from medical services, things like that. But how can people go about obtaining those services from Project Angel Heart if they feel they need them?
So anybody who's interested in receiving, free home delivered, medically tailored meals from Project Angel Heart, the best place to start is actually on our website or by calling our client services team. So if you go to projectangelheart.org, which I know you're going to link for listeners as well.
Yes, I will.
They can access an application that they can bring to their medical provider, or they can fill out themselves and have their medical provider sign. Basically, it's just a 2-page application that helps us get some basic information about them to help us get their services started. We're also happy to help kind of support that process. So individuals who are interested in receiving our meals can also call our client services team directly. The phone number is 303-830-0202. And they can press option 1 and then option 2 to speak with a member of our client services team. And they can either mail an application directly to folks' homes, they can fax an application to their medical provider, basically do whatever is needed to facilitate that process of getting folks signed up for our services.
Awesome. Very good. And then if there are people listening that think, oh man, this is really cool. I want to decorate bags or I want to deliver some meals and they want to be a part of this. How can they best go about volunteering with Project Angel Heart?
We would love for anybody to get involved as a volunteer with Project Angel Heart. Like I said, we literally could not fulfill our mission without the support of volunteers. And so if folks are interested, we have a role for absolutely everyone, whether you want to deliver meals, if you want to come into the kitchen and help, chop vegetables, if you want to help with our distribution process, kind of sorting bags to make sure they get to the right place, or if you want to decorate meal bags that our clients receive their deliveries in. Kind of the same process. You can check out our website. We have all of our volunteer positions listed online, so you can look at the different descriptions and find the one that's the best fit for you. Or you can give us a call, that same phone number. That'll help connect you to our volunteer resources department, and the wonderful team there would be happy to find a position that would be a good fit for you.
All right. Yeah. So we're getting near the end here. And so I just wanted to ask, is there anything else that you want to add that you feel we haven't really been able to touch on yet in the conversation?
So we talked about, how folks can receive meals and how people can get involved from a volunteer perspective. But of course, I should also mention that if folks are interested in donating to Project Angel Heart, there are a number of ways that you can get involved in that way as well. One very exciting opportunity we have coming up is our cookie donation fundraiser, where
I'm sorry, this has me extremely intrigued. You said cookie dough and my ears automatically perked up.
Yes, cookie donation. So our executive sous chef, Summer, has a top secret chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Oh my gosh.
That she's been making for years. And when I say top secret, I mean this recipe is heavily guarded. Nobody has access to it. None of our volunteers, our staff. We've been trying to get it out of her for a long time.
I heard Nestle Toll House has been poking around and you've been pushing them away.
Those cookies don't even come close to what Summer can create. And
gosh.
This year, we are going to be celebrating the delivery of our 10 millionth meal. And to kind of support that celebration, we are going to be selling our sous chef Summer's cookie dough. So for a $30 donation, you are able to purchase a box of the cookie dough, and you can take that home and you can make the cookies. Or if you're anything like me, you can just go right to town on the cookie dough.
Yes.
So there will be more information coming soon about that, but that's kind of a fun way to get involved if you're interested in supporting and getting some delicious cookies out of it too.
I was gonna say, if nothing else, I'm at least interested in the cookie dough, so we may have to talk a little bit after we're done here. No, that's great. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you, Nic, for taking the time today. I appreciate you being here and for all the work that you guys do there at Project Angel Heart. So thanks for coming on.
Great. Thank you so much, Scott. And thank you again to the folks in El Paso County who supported us in this way. And we look forward to continuing to serve the community.
Awesome. Well, if you're interested in listening to additional episodes of Beyond the Dais, be sure to look for us on Podbean or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.